Hello and welcome everyone. This is the Daily Dharma. My name is Dina. Thank you so much for joining. Today we're going to jump right in. Let's take a moment and open up and see what the universe is asking us to give our attention to in this reading. Looking for some cards to flip out. There we go. That'll be our basic theme. Let's see, under the deck we have number 5. The Tao doesn't take sides. It gives birth to both good and evil. The Master doesn't take sides. She welcomes both saints and sinners. The Tao is like a bellows. It's empty, yet infinitely capable. The more you use it, the more it produces. The more you talk of it, the less you understand. Hold on to the center. So as I was going into this reading, I was understanding my guidance that this was to be a bit of an exploration. Lately, it seems that we've been having some consciousness expansion and evolutionary growth pangs, if you will. And so we're being told to look at ourselves in a new way. And for some people, it may be coming up as different types of judgments or perceptions, breakthroughs, or I'm hearing the weirdest noise in this room right now. Hold on just a moment. Apologies, it's life in the pole barn. So it's basically us getting our consciousness to stretch into new dimensions, to both appreciate our brilliance. Now I'm seeing a tiny little spider here crawling up on my tripod. It's an interesting interruptions here. So we'll leave that there. It's talking about how the things that we could judge or the things that we could have expectations about are just really invitations to test our own ideas about that limitation or that rule or that otherwise observations. Let's read a few more of these. Oh, I know I was also going to say too, as it was coming through, is that another one of those fear thresholds where to the extent that we can meet ourselves, we're breaking through into new ground. Let's see what else. 24 says, he who stands on tiptoe doesn't stand firm. He who rushes ahead doesn't go far. He who tries to shine dims his own light. He who defines himself can't know who he really is. He who has power over others can't empower himself. He who clings to his work will create nothing that endures. If you want to accord with the Tao, just do your job, then let it go. And so exactly, whatever it is that we're breaking through on, it seems that some of us have specific gifts, our medicine in this world. And some of our medicine, if any of you are interested in animal totems and have done any looking into those, some people do a fantastic job of really blending the essence of the shadow and the light attributes of animals. Now, if we look at something such as the coyote, it can be seen as a trickster, or like the fox gets that reputation too sometimes, but they are both very clever as well, and they are very pack or family oriented in other ways. So they have their own medicine. And same thing with humans. We have our pros and cons, but whose attribute list are we trying to esteem ourselves in comparison to? And so we all have, whether it's projections or otherwise judgments from some other context that kind of steps forward and is like, whether I think that I'm different or whether I think I'm being judged, then we start to create layers and layers of what I want to identify here as a bit of self-deception. Being accountable is one thing, but raking yourselves over the coals can be really detrimental in so many ways, and we know this. So it seems that many of us are starting to place some awareness on something we've judged about ourselves or others have led us to believe is being judged about us. And it's like it bubbles up for us to just say, okay, simmer down now, pot on the boil. I understand that it's my fear that's placing the heat under the kettle, creating these things to bubble up. Or maybe that's really not the best analogy, but you get what I'm going for, I do believe. Let's read the next one. 75. When taxes are too high, people go hungry. When the government is too intrusive, people lose their spirit. Act for the people's benefit. Trust them. Leave them alone. Again, with this taking care of our own business and then leaving it alone comes forth in both of those. And that the oracle is telling us Tao is something that is neutral in nature. And so when we can step back from something that seems highly energetically charged with expectations, excitement, or anxiety, that kind of helps us to leads us to the next one, keep our cool in a situation. Modern life can be stressful. It's often also full of disorder and hubbub. Again, that presenting problem, including disagreements, arguments, or even worse. Keep calm, you may need it. The fastest way to lose focus is to lose your cool. The fire analogy, okay, yes. Take a deep breath and think before acting. If you can keep your wits about you in the midst of a crisis, it will serve you well. Sun Tzu said, disciplined and calm, to await the appearance of disorder and hubbub amongst the enemy. This is the art of retaining self-possession. Exactly. Self-possession, self-regulation, and our own ability to steer our vessel instead of having fear lead the charge or the ego jump in the seat and start leading us around by our by our fear or by other people's judgments. That's letting other people decide who we are and how we are able to show up, giving us permission to be ourselves. Disciplined and calm to await the appearance of disorder and hubbub. Waiting for our opportunity to help or assist. I was getting the image the other day of a somewhat stumbling toddler and the hovering mother. And in my mind, it was seeming like it was the spiritual essences trying to guide us and guard us and not interfere with things. And it's almost like they've got us when we stumble. The essence is going to help us and protect us when it comes down to things. And in the meantime, we can relieve ourselves of any worry, fear, or anxiety. Maybe not all of it exactly. As I say, I don't mean to speak in extremes here, but to just wait and be calm and to do what needs to be done, to do our work and leave it alone and not to obsess or overthink. And so also, I believe I started to say and interrupted myself and got on a loop there. It's also about the way that we're able to be recognized or to show up in a group, whether it's a friend group, a family group, or on a social media platform or otherwise. The ability to use our voice there's so many levels to it. The ability to make noise is obviously at the base level of breakthrough. Then you lead into being able to communicate your needs, and then your preferences, and then maybe your truth. And then beyond that, to offer up healing, perhaps even. And as we use our voice in these different circumstances, groups, and things, there's this need to stand in neutrality and not hold undue expectations in the reception that others are able to give us. So if we're getting some jealousy, envy, resentments, it's worthy of notice for us to check ourselves and to become aware of that. But it's also not something that we should use to stifle or suppress our truth going forward. I feel that that is something that we have already engaged as souls in this group that's here today. So yeah, if some people or some situation has arisen, it looks like there's an opportunity for you to kind of clear your throat, as I've been doing going forward here, or coming into this moment, and to say what needs to be said, and then to not overthink how it was received, and to just be able to walk away from it. And if you feel that somebody's feelings are hurt, it's always there for us to do something like reach out and say, uh, it seemed like you might have had questions or something. I hope all is well, or I apologize if you were offended. But apology is also that looping, and so it's not up to me to suggest your strategize for you. But I kind of feel that there's some kind of holding the breath as you start to explore further and further into your voice and how you're being asked to use it. And then in so doing, how the mirror of the other people and are receiving and reflecting back to you about your impact, as well as the literal results of having said things. Does it make a difference, such as when you set a boundary, or when you bring something to someone's attention? Has it been received? And we had talked recently in a group I was in about active listening skills, and this has come up on the channel before. I'll leave it for you to research because it's already been talked about, but it's basically just checking for engagement and understanding, and then reflecting back to the other person your thoughts and feelings, and asking them to reflect back to you if there's understanding and what to do about it, and if there's limits, right? Yeah, plan ahead. Okay, so this is perfect that things are leading us right into the next. Plan ahead. Don't make it up as you go along. So strategize and practice, possibly, and research things such as active listening, or appropriate ways to set a boundary if that's the thing you're working on, or how to empower your own personal voice, or how to get to the bottom of what you need in a situation, how to identify or negotiate terms of a raise or some other thing, or dealing with spousal or partnership debates. How do you go into those and actually achieve your objectives for the best for all people in integrity, but also not compromise your own sense of identity, your sense of person, and also your needs not becoming eclipsed or eclipsing others. Life is full of decisions. Isn't that the truth? Some people put them off or ask for advice. Others simply stick a pin in a list. In reality, you need to use your intuition, reason, or a combination. Intuition is more suited to simple or quick decisions. More complicated reasoning requires a formal, structured approach, using reason, facts, and figures to decide whether the answer they lead to is right. Sun Tzu said, ponder and deliberate before you make a move. Perfect. Okay, so that brings us to the pre-messages. I only had one deck that threw some cards, and we're talking about needs, and this came out. Archangel Michael, the waterfall, and the Buddha prepares. And under the deck was, let me see if I can get this to give us a good picture here. I hope you guys are having a good day. And yeah, there you go. Wishes fulfilled. Isn't that beautiful energy? So getting our needs met and being protected here with this angelic type energy, and however you believe, it's just talking about those energies that protect our ability to self-advocate, to speak our truth, to use our voice, and to create justice and protection, providence, especially pertaining to children and families. And there's an overflowing of psychic, empathic, and emotional energy connected to that for many of us. And it seems that this is what we're talking about with these emotions and perceptions that are boiling up for our entertainment purposes only, right? And I say that as kind of a jokingly, because again, Spirit's saying not to make it too complex. It's already complex enough to get our needs met. There's something here about whatever is coming forward is suddenly coming up, and there's a level of absurdity to the anxiety that is making its mark because we are beyond something or over something, or we've reviewed it enough times. And so there's some type of relief coming through, some type of protection and newfound flow in a situation. We're being prepared for the next level. And so we're really needing to look at some of these pitfalls, such as fear, doubt, and judgment, in unprecedented ways. And it's been kind of a lengthy process, I feel, especially with the climate of the world in general right now. It's so crazy and chaotic, but it can be hard to tap into hope in times where everything seems a little crazy and people aren't on the same page. However, we're often reminded that we're being prepared, we're being protected. So let's get a few more cards. The mixed deck here, Beyond Lemuria and the Sacred Geometry Activation Oracle, is going to show us the areas that are being upgraded. So some of us may be having things like ascension symptoms, maybe some uncharacteristic digestive issues, or ringing in the ear, or maybe a flutter in various chakra regions. However, as you all know, take good care of your health. Make sure to get anything checked out. If it's a physical thing presenting, we don't want to overlook anything important. Let's go with that. Under the deck, exactly, alchemy and realization here. You're being prepared, and so it's also reminding me to talk about just hydration and nourishment. Check back into the recordings if you're interested in the astrology of the full moon on February 12th. We're going into eclipse season, and so the astrology's giving us little breadcrumb trails about the types of momentum drivers that are under the surface. And I've been looking into the Sabian symbols. So some of those are on the video, or do your own research and comment in here what you're thinking about that. But to me, it seems that there's this fire's being quenched where we've got the sun moving through in Aquarius with the Sabian symbols. And this breakthrough, this waterfall is that emotional flow. So the alchemy, I wanted to also say that because of the ascension symptoms, the alchemy is what is shifting and becoming aware of, okay, well, if it's digestive, it may be something to do with a sacral chakra issue. If it's heartburn or indigestion up further, maybe it has to do with solar plexus. If it's constant clearing the throat, as I tend to do, there's generally things related to using the voice, such as throat chakra issues. And we do have Archangel Michael, who is typically identified with the blue ray of speech and voice and throat chakra. So heart chakra was the one that popped upright. I equate heart chakra with Archangel Raphael and also root chakra. Root chakra, is that Sandalphon? And then we have consciousness. I don't often work with the angel energies, so I may be coming up with these because somebody here, so it may be just a confirmation for somebody that your angels are attempting to work with you in more conscious ways and more intention. And with heart and root, it's really staying grounded and centered in our heart space, which is the element of air and comprehension, understanding, and empathy and compassion. It is the sacred mirror that helps us to outgrow retribution, because an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. And then we have conception with communication. Exactly. We've got communication using the voice here coming up. It's all to do with whatever new activation is being prepared and activated, unlocked within you. There is possibly a plan being hatched, an idea or vision being conceived, or a new approach, a new tone, a new energy, baseline, or something such as that. Because you can also talk about tone when you talk about voice, whether it's your tone of voice in an argument and whether you're sounding patronizing or accommodating or tyrannical or suggestive. So we understand this. So there's ways with this concepts and this planning. I also just kind of funnily got the joke about the concepts of a plan. So make sure to know your audience and also the message that you're trying to convey. It might be helpful to ping a group of like-minded or compassionate individuals that could produce a good amount of feedback, or to hold some type of energy gathering or session, a meeting, and to connect with ideas and to discuss different committees and so on, how to deal with some type of presenting problem, to ground something back into the heart space and back into its integrity, so that all of the conscious creators therein can eradicate themselves from some type of commingling karma that's obscuring the purpose and the integrity of the group vision that is really the foundation. Dragon's Horde, protecting the future. I absolutely love that with Archangel Michael and the Buddha prepares. There's a lot of simplicity to where we're going with this, and it's bigger than just us. And so whatever vision or thing or person, place, or idea that's being conceived and worked through, um, anything that you're integrating and hatching within yourself is like this, protecting the future by doing your sacred work so that incarnations and generations after generations don't have to come back and do the same work that we could be doing in real time now. And so something very powerful is working through you. So please do know that whatever voice or message is coming up for you, it is true, it is worthy, it is honorable, it is helping you to continue to accord or align yourself with the Tao, with that neutrality of staying strong in your center, in your core, to shine brightly for what is to come. So we'll leave that one there, and let's take a few from the back here. The hummingbird, beautiful energy. The hummingbird is so subtle and often overlooked, but it's a very high vibrational energy. And for me personally, that is a very motherly, caretaking energy in spirit, perhaps for some of us, guiding us and showing us the way. It could be definitely having to do with a lot of animal totem energies stepping forward for you. Um, and the birds and the animals, they do have messages for us. So if we could even just give our attention to the earth instead of our problems, our presenting problems appearing real, then we can get the medicine and we can tease out the commonalities in a more helpful way that isn't so harsh and like, oh well, people don't like you because you talk too much, isn't accurate as much as saying that you have a lot of wisdom and insight and inspiration and motivation to share your energy, and many things catch your attention and you love to place your energy behind these ideas co-creatively and to help other people to share and explore, and you create space, sacred space in the heart space, and a grounded, very secure and safe environment in which people can learn about that. That's a different way to hear that. Now, some people talk a lot and they talk a bunch of crap, but that's not the people sitting here paying attention to this broadcast, correct? So know your magic and your medicine. This is a bit perhaps for some of us a line of generational healing coming forward. This one to me is a grandmotherly essence in spirit. Curious that the two come out together. 59, wailing tree, reconciliations. And some of you, sure, may be dealing with reconciliation energy between friends, lovers, or estranged family members, or so on, or getting back into taking good care of yourself, taking time for your hobbies. You can be reconciling your differences between heart and mind, um, as far as like taking a leap of faith or something else, giving yourself permission to stretch your awareness and your consciousness into new dimensions and exploring, having new adventures. But with this reconciliations, I'm more so feeling that this is reclaiming our power. And it came up in a recent conversation that an individual that has an understanding that they have a bit of multiple personalities operating within them has identified many of these personalities as childlike energies at various ages and stages of trying to get her attention and to steer the wheel of her ship. And what it was coming through as is that part of this is also the multidimensional mind that connects with other timelines and other energies. And so the ego mingled with the heart can imaginatively envision ourselves as this inner child really needing a voice. And so it steps forward from various times along, perhaps even this lifetime's timeline, in these little, possibly a bit infantile or underdeveloped, underacknowledged portions of our characteristics such as needing a bit of attention or really wanting to share to help others because you didn't have that mentorship. Whatever it might be stepping forward to you, we kind of tease out the motivations for what do these personalities step forward to speak about to us. Instead of shaming ourselves, ask that petulant toddler within, what is your medicine for me? What do I need to acknowledge? And then we're kind of going out on a limb to explore all of these various things and to ask the child why they feel estranged from the center. And so then we can reclaim that child back into the self, into the core, into the center, into even our own sacred womb space, male or female, your core of creativity, to almost rebirth the essence of our purity into pure divine awareness in real time. Like, oh, I feel like I need to get some attention, and we can call ourselves out, or we can just say, excuse me, I get a little excited. Go ahead, I see you have something to say, for instance. But so it's a shamanic technique of reclaiming our energy because of our energy having been fragmented off into different timelines. We can reclaim that and give voice in the now with firm boundaries and clear identification of our wants, needs, preferences, and limitations in the real world, and identify what needs permission to speak to us. The hunter and repairing the veil forgiveness. Oh my goodness. This gives me little bubbles of happiness and joy and hope in my sacral region, in the pit of my stomach. And I think that it feels so pure to say that we've all been trespassers in some type of a way, whether perceived or real, to our parents or our children. And we've been seeking experiences, as have others. And so it's important for us, left, right, heart and mind, friend and foe, frenemies and enemies, to unify, to surpass this fear threshold of being against each other, to somehow connect and unify against estrangement from the core. It is a critical time to protect our future by coming together and seeing something very powerful in this time. And we are agents of that changing productivity under the deck here. Such a gorgeous energy. And I already did shuffle this. We have balance, right and left, red and blue, two wings of one bird here. There's a lot of medicine getting involved with the soil and the earth and the transformative dragonfly. We're at the end of the video. I appreciate you guys so much. Your influence is coming to a head, and you may be able to deliver a message to groups, large, small, and you may be the one bearing the peace dove and delivering the message that somebody needs. So practice using your voice. Ready but waiting. You've got the bird in your hand here. Phenomenal. And the one that fell out, perspective. Look at that pregnancy of the angel. You are being